Okay, now what we're going to do is look at Out of the Blue and some of the possible meanings that might be coming through this poem. Now, as I mentioned, this is an extract, so it's a bit tricky because it's part of a longer poem, and it is said that there are some pieces of information that you might want to know. That this is a poem about, I'm wondering if I could write it here, an Englishman trapped in the World Trade Center in New York City on 9/11, the day of the terrorist attacks. He imagines that someone spotted him. And he imagines talking to them. So that would be the you, apparently, of this poem. And he's trying to attract his attention by twirling the shirt. Now, I think that a good poem can stand on its own and create its own meaning. I think this poem, and especially because you're writing about this for an exam, I think this background helps us out into understanding and unlocking the meaning of the poem a little bit. So you've picked me out through a distant shot of a building burning. You've noticed now that a white cotton shirt is twirling, turning. In fact, I am waving. So this person, this I who's speaking, is apparently an Englishman trapped in the World Trade Center, and he's waving his shirt, but he's also imagining a conversation he might be having with this you, with this person looking on. He may be small in the clouds, but he's still trying to wave and wave. And he asks a question, you know, is my life worth saving? Am I a soul worth saving? And it seems like that's almost, this questioning here is quite sad to me. He's questioning whether he should be alive, if he should be saved. And then it slightly gets a little surreal or perhaps ridiculous. So when will you come? When are you going to come and save me? Do you think you're watching a man shaking crumbs or pegging out washing? These two images, I presume, are the way that the man sees himself waving this shirt, as if all he's doing is taking the crumbs out of his shirt, or maybe pegging up his shirt after being washed. Is that what he imagines the viewer is seeing? But actually, he's trying. That's what he's saying. Now, what is he trying? We don't know. What is he trying? The heat of the fire of the World Trade Center is itself a person. It's personified. And it's bullying him. And it's driving him. But this shirt that he's waving around is not the flag of surrender. Also in cartoons when people often wave their white flag as a way of saying, I give up. This shirt that he's waving is not that giving up. He is trying to get someone's attention. But he's also at the point where he might be ready to jump. Now, I'm sure you're familiar with footage of this day in New York. And there were a number of people trapped in the tower, and there were a number of people who jumped. This person is not willing to surrender, but he might be at the ready to make a jump. He's in the air. Obviously, he's quite high up. And he says he notices a bird go by. I think that's to emphasize how high up he is. and that the depth of it is appalling. Appalling in the sense that it's really scary and almost disgusting. But then he repeats this word in a different context to mean a different thing. It's appalling also that others like me should be windmilling, wheeling, spiraling, falling. So here we have that longer line, and there's an emphasis here. Earlier we said perhaps, there's a great deal of falling emphasized in this line. But now what we realize is other people have jumped. And the speaker finds this appalling. He's changed the meaning of the word there. He finds it disgusting. But also at the same time, he might become one of them in a moment. He asks some questions, but there are no question marks. I wonder if that's because maybe these aren't really questions. Maybe they're just statements. Are your eyes believing that here in the gills I'm still breathing? Gills are what fish have. And he's referring to his own face as if to say, well, I am still alive, and actually I am still breathing. I don't know why he compares himself to a fish. That seems really confusing to me, but it is striking. And then the final stanza. He may be breathing, but he's getting tired. Remember, the heat is bullying and driving him forward. He's thinking of jumping. The sirens below are wailing and firing. Wailing, this is more personification. Sirens are like children crying out below. The last two lines are, I think, quite mysterious and really quite beautiful. My arm is numb and my nerves are sagging. I guess perhaps from waving this t-shirt or this shirt around so much, trying to get the attention of us in a way. He's trying to get our attention. We are cast as the second person you, this person who he's talking to. But his arm is getting tired and his nerves are failing him. And then we have this last question, but again without a question mark. Do you see me, my love? I find this line quite sad. He is addressing someone he loves, or maybe it's just a way of talking, like, the way they say in the North, my love, but love rather. But I don't think it's that because of that, my. It actually sounds like someone else he's speaking to, not just the you, because we're not his love. Maybe he's speaking to someone else, the person he misses and cares about the most. And in these last moments when he thinks he's going to die, he has to acknowledge it. And he almost calls out to her, do you see me, my love? I'm failing, flagging. Flagging in this context means like almost when the wind stops blowing and the flag collapses without energy. That's what this man's spirit has done. And there is some suggestion, actually, that he might have jumped. And that his body itself is that thing collapsing and falling.